I thought the first half our defense was good except for McMahon. Joe left them once, Buddy left them once, Elijah once, and Quincy once. And the one thing we wanted to do in the first half was not to let McMahon get free, and that was the difference in the half. The second half, our guards did a better job. We found him better, but we didn't rotate and take away the inside play, and that was it. That was the game. They just got too many easy shots, obviously, down there. Their defense was good the whole game. I thought their defense was just better than our offense. I think they're a really good team. I think they've got a chance to beat anybody. And tonight we just weren't good enough in the second half, defensively or offensively. Questions? We don't have a tired guy out there. We're not good enough at the end of the game in the games we've lost to win. That's the bottom line. I wish we were better. I wish we were doing something wrong that we could correct, but we're just not quite good enough. These guys have fought hard. I mean, to go down to the wire at Florida State and Clemson and to win the 4 road games that we've won, I think it's tremendous for the tribute to this team, what they've done. I'm happy with what this group has done. They're doing everything they can to win. But, and we'll do everything we can win the last 5 games we play. That's all we can do. But there's some reason that they're not winning. Sometimes we're just not good enough. That's all. All right? Thank you.
Welcome to the Cuse Militia Podcast with those two unapologetically biased, orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
What's up, Cuse Nation? Thanks for tuning in to the Cuse Militia Podcast with Sean and Joe. If you like it, please share it. The universal handle for the socials is @Cuse Militia. Go there, join the militia. We are the only Syracuse sports podcast centered around giving you, the fans, a voice. Rate, review, and subscribe if you would. We appreciate that. It really helps us out. So thanks to everybody who already has. We are back. We're a day late, but it's better late than never, right? Isn't that the old saying, Joe? Sure. So Joe is without his normal equipment, so he is joining me via Skype from Syracuse. He'll be at the Georgia Tech game this Saturday. Well, tomorrow. So we will probably be doing the next show on Monday because Joe's got to figure in some travel time there. But so anyway, Louisville snaps a 2-game losing streak on the Orange, 99-66. What was it? 90-66, not 99. 90-66, making Syracuse worst loss of the 2019-20 season. It was probably the absolute worst time to play Louisville, coming off of a couple tough losses, and they were at home, so not great. And Georgia Tech seeks revenge on the Orange this Saturday at 4 in the Dome, as previously mentioned. So we will go over all of that stuff here shortly. But first, I am going to tell you about the good folks over at MyBookie. And to do so, I might need a little piece of paper here in front of me. It does help. So listen, whether you are a first-time player or you got some experience, regardless, go to mybookie.ag. If you have any questions, their patient customer service teams can help you out, answer any of the questions you got, and get you rolling. And, MyBookie, honestly, out of all the sports books out there, if you're going to do online betting at any sports book, MyBookie's the place to go. They have the most prop bets. You don't just have to bet on sports, but I recommend it. Either way, go there, log on to mybookie.ag, make your first deposit using the promo code CHAIR, and MyBookie will match your deposit dollar for dollar. That's mybookie.ag, promo code CHAIR, CHAIR. They will double your first deposit up to $1,000 to jumpstart that bankroll. So go there today. We appreciate it. You play, you win, you get paid. Thank you, MyBookie. All right, so we roll on. All right, Ryan McMahon lit it up in the first half with 12 points, but Syracuse would keep him in check in the second with 1 point. The problem in the second is that everyone else went off like dynamite. So, go figure. Jordan Nwora stops his scoring skid from the past couple games with a game-high 17 points. And, basically, this is our lives as Syracuse fans. It's just, it just figures. So, the good. Quincy Guerrier great job. Another double-double, 14 points, 12 rebounds, and only 2 fouls. He continues to improve, but most importantly, he's getting more and more minutes, obviously. That's going to lead to consistency, and I think we're seeing it. So hats off to him. He did a great job. The bad, Sidibe played 11 minutes, fouled out. 11 minutes and fouled out. I honestly think I could do better than that. That marks his 8th disqualification of the year and 5th of the last 6. -9 on the boards for Syracuse, 45-36. They are now ranked 229th, and we had started tracking this going into full swing ACC play against Notre Dame, and they were right at 200 going into that game. They got up to 165 through that 5-game win streak that they had there early in ACC play, and now they're back to 229th, just slipping. The Orange had an obvious off night, and they've only won 2 games this year scoring under 70 points. I think one was UVA and the other one was Virginia Tech, and Virginia Tech was 69 points. So they're not scoring, they ain't winning, obviously, because the defense has just not been there. So speaking of which, you got to score a lot to win, and that would be because of the defense. Giving up 90 to Louisville, the Cardinals were 46.9 from the field and 41.7 from 3. In the last 6 games, going all the way back to the Clemson loss, Syracuse opponents have shot an average of 47.5 from the field, 36.5 from 3. And our record in those 6 games is 1-5. The one win came against Georgia Tech. That was a 2-point win, and obviously that was the worst shooting team out of them all at 37.7% from the field and 22.2 from 3. So, Joe, it's like this team's kind of hit a brick wall. And as we were watching them progress and things were getting better, the 3-point, the inside game came, the outside game behind the arc kind of fizzled out. And if you can't score, you got to make stops. And if you can't make stops and you can't score, you ain't gonna win.
Yeah, and I think that's just what you've seen. Again, this is the reason why I talked about how I thought that Florida State was our best chance of winning, because I didn't think that I didn't like Louisville's matchup with us, obviously. And they got the length, they got the athleticism, they can score from wherever. So I think a lot of it, and I think has just come to realization with a lot of fans and stuff, but what Boeheim says in his press conference about sometimes it's just we're not as good as the other team, and that's the answer. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing. And as the season's gone on, as coaches see more and more game film and see what people do, I think the recipe's out there and kind of who to stop and how to stop them as far as on offense. And there's just limitations that we have. And it's just becoming harder and harder to outscore these other opponents when other teams are figuring out how to guard Buddy and Elijah. Now, I think Joe is finding he's getting better as far as being able to score and do certain things that he hasn't done earlier in the season. The same thing with Quincy, but now teams are guarding Buddy and Elijah a lot tougher. And even Dolgais seem to have started to kind of hit a wall as far as what he can do offensively as well, right? So that's just what happens as you go throughout a season. If you're not progressing and you're not getting better and figuring out ways to beat the other team, then there's going to be games like this, especially against a team so good like Louisville.
Yeah, and, Coach said it. I mean, there's not a whole lot to analyze about the game, right? Like, the defense was bad, and they weren't scoring. So, there you go. Boom. There's your analysis, It gets
to the point where what do? You do sit back and just let them kind of take some time down and score, or do you try to rush it, maybe double team, maybe force a couple turnovers? And that's really what it got down to, was we needed to do things like that just to try to force a turnover or force some type of stop, because we just weren't stopping anything. Right. So it was very frustrating.
Yep. Let's do a little bit of fan feedback and give you a little taste of that. But after that, we will move on to Georgia Tech.
It's time to hear from you, the loudmouths from the Loud House.
Y'all know what to do. Go to the socials after the game, and I ask you for your thoughts on the game. Go ahead. leave your thoughts there, and we will read through them and try to get to some of them on the next episode. So I didn't go to Facebook and ask for comments there. I went to Twitter only because I was going to do something different. I didn't even know if this episode was going to happen. So that was on purpose. It wasn't an accident. But I did get some stuff off of Twitter, so we'll do a couple, and then we'll move on. At DBone75, first, Dick Vitale, great job. Some would differ with that, but okay, I'm okay with Dickie V. It's fine. This team is like a broken record. We can't hit threes. Our bigs can't stay out of foul trouble. We sure can't play defense. Cuse was slow tonight on offense and defense. This team looked like it quit at times tonight. # frustrated. I've got to be honest, man. This is one of the games where I don't know if it was the level of frustration, Joe, or if they were just giving up, but it was some standing around and not a whole lot of hustle. That Louisville just out hustled those guys so bad in that game. It was just gross to watch.
Yeah, well, sometimes you get to that point, almost just a frustrating kind of defeated point where a team just understands that they're probably not going to win, and it just makes it hard to play really, really hard for the last 6-7 minutes when you know you really don't have a chance to win. But that's really what happens when you get there. And that's the first game this season that I've seen like that.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I haven't seen it all year. In fact, we've made it a point to talk about how this team never gives up and they're always fighting. But a couple times on defense, they just gave up. They gave up on some rebounds, and they gave up just when. I mean, Louisville came out. They were not going to be denied in that game. Plain and simple.
No. And we talked about that, right? Like them coming off 2 road losses and wanting to come back. And, a team that's top 10 teams got aspirations to go pretty far in the tournament. They're going to come out hungry. Yeah,
they dropped out of the top 10 in the AP poll. I think they're sitting 11th. So
when you're playing a team like that, you want to be able to, sneak up on them on the road. Maybe have them be in a little bit of a winning streak and, them not really worried about you.
Guard down.
But,
yeah,
but that wasn't the case. It didn't matter who was going to – I don't want to say it didn't matter who, because obviously there's Duke and some other teams that are going to be difficult. But, whoever was going into that KFC Yum Center on Wednesday night, they were going to get the full platter of what Louisville had to offer. So
yeah, Louisville. You want to catch a team like that with their guard down. Obviously not the case, but ironically, Duke goes ahead and gets crushed by NC State that same night. So
crazy.
So it made that win not look so terrible. It happens. Teams have bad games.
It happens.
Yeah, right. Exactly. At 1, Kev Nash. Love these guys, but we need more talented players. They play hard. We know we have a great coach. The overall talent ain't there. # go Cuse. Yeah, Joe, I mean, coaches so much has said it this year, and they're just not there. But you're looking at 9 sophomore and freshmen, no seniors, and you just, not that they don't have the leadership, because I think they do, but the experience, and it's just a young team still, and like we talked about like I mentioned with the progression of this team was really good at first, and then it's like they hit a brick wall, Joe.
Yeah, there's nothing really else you can say. Again, I think that what he talks about with the athletes, that's really where you see us struggle with certain teams. Some teams we still can match up with athletically, but there's the other ones that give us problems, and those are the type of teams that we've been playing. So,
at ZW Rodborn, I'm tired of seeing Sidibe in foul trouble. I get that coach feels he isn't ready, but I would like to see what Edwards can give. As for this game, shot poorly, and it got worse as the lead grew and pressure mounted. Throw this one away and move on. ACC tournament is all that matters. Well, I will say this. I think that the a lot of even some of the media guys, I think I saw something from Inside the Loud House that said these next 5 games they're meaningless. I believe the headline was, and they kind of are, because you look at you got to get into the NCAA tournament, you got to win the ACC tournament at this point, right?
Yeah.
Can we agree on that? You're not in total agreement there. You're not buying that, huh? I'm buying that.
Do we have to win the ACC tournament?
Yeah.
No, I don't believe so.
You don't believe so? Depends on who we play in the ACC tournament.
We'd have to make a run.
Okay.
Depends on how many games that we win
and who we play.
When
right?
you turn around and you look at it, I've seen teams with a record of 18-14 get in the tournament, stuff like that. You've seen it. It all depends on other metrics as well. And realistically, us being 14-12.
Yeah.
14-12 and 7-8 in the ACC.
Yep.
If we string together 5 straight wins, which I think that's a lot of the comments. I think that people they just lost the trust. But realistically, when you look at it, if you go from 14-19, and then all of a sudden you go from 7-8 to 12-8 in conference, and you're probably the number 4 or 5 seed, something like that in the tournament, then you're going to kind of pop back up in that bubble radar. There's no doubt in my mind if we were to turn around and win the next 5 games and go to 19-12, that people would start talking about us again. And I mean, obviously we'd still have to win something in the ACC tournament, but I don't think we'd have to go to we might have to go to the finals.
Okay. Fair enough.
But had to beat an FSU or a Louisville or something like that, or a Duke in the semifinals to get to the finals. And then that would probably give us 2 wins that get us to 21-12, and then losing in the finals to 21-13. I mean, I think that kind of thing would get us in there. And realistically, a lot of it still has to do with the rest of, just the college basketball spectrum and what happens there too. So you never really know.
Yeah, well, that's true. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Sidibe in foul trouble, he mentions. Wait, let's go to Edwards. This is more important because I hit Sidibe. Sidibe 5 fouls in 11 minutes. That is unacceptable. Okay, it's like totally unacceptable. It's like 1 foul every 2 minutes and 10 seconds. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's unreal. But Edwards, he played good in his 8 minutes. 7 points and 3 rebounds. I mean, he had 2 turnovers, but he had 2 blocks.
Yeah, I mean, they really weren't playing when it was.
I know.
By the time he got in there, it was pretty much the game in hand, right?
Yeah, well, it absolutely was. But, he's still running around doing his thing, and he is awkward look. Like, very awkward out there. You know what I'm saying?
It works sometimes. I think he had a decent pass one time for an assist, right? And
yeah.
I mean, he did finish around the basket, stuff like that. So, I mean, as a true freshman, he's not that far off from Sidibe, who's a junior? So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he played 8 minutes and only committed 1 foul, so there's that. At HDC2DC, I like Edwards and Guerrier tonight. Saw them make a couple mistakes and learn from them. Saw them play hard. Saw them turn good defense and rebounds into offense. Glad Buddy hit a few too. I love this team so damn much, even during seasons that are harder. Yeah, I mean, Buddy, he played good. He scored 15 points. He was 6 for 15 though, 3 for 10 from 3, and we needed just a little bit more from him and Joe and Elijah. To be honest with you, Elijah had a rough game too. But yeah, I love the team too. I didn't even get upset during that game because it was Louisville set the pace so early. I just felt like, let's not have it be a blowout. And then when it was a blowout, I mean, it was already in the second half, and just the writing was on the wall. There was no reason for me to even get upset. So I hear you. But anyway, that's it. That's all we're going to do for fan feedback today. We're just going to try to move this along. We have already played Georgia Tech once already, Joe, and Syracuse is going to try to get off the schneid this Saturday. You're going to be there at home against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech sits at 13-13, 7-8 in the ACC as well. Syracuse is 2-3 in the Pastner era so far. Syracuse took the first 2 meetings so far. The first of 2 meetings so far this season, 97-63. The all-time series with these 2 teams sits at 6-6. Georgia Tech with wins over Louisville and Virginia Tech, and Georgia Tech in their last 4 games with a loss against Pitt. So they're playing at a higher level that they were when we played them the first time, and the difference is Jose Alvarado. He's leading the Yellow Jackets in assists with 4.2 and steals with 1.8. He's averaging 14 points per game behind Michael DeVoe, who's averaging 16.3. 6'10", 250-pound senior forward James Banks III. He leads in rebounds with 7.4 and blocks with 2.5. And as a team, they're shooting 45.2 from the field, 66.5 from the line, and 30.1 from three. So not in Jose Alvarado's not great. He's shooting around 30% from three too. Not a huge threat out there, but we know how those lyrics in that song goes. So
yeah. No, yeah, we talked about this even when we played him the first time. I remember in the preview talking about Jose Alvarado and how having them, missing him, there was going to be a different team, and we ended up, I don't even remember when I look back and look, I was like 34. Oh, so, but after that game on the next podcast, I do remember talking about how, if they have Jose Alvarado, the next time we play him, it's going to be a different game. So, and they have won 5 of the last 7. So being 13-13 doesn't look great, but it wasn't so long ago that they were 8-11.
right,
with only 2 ACC wins. So they've kind of on the rise, or they've came a long ways, and you nailed it as far as who we have to worry about. Alvarado and DeVoe, they're going to be problems. They do have height too. I know that Moses Wright in the second half of the first game, he kind of started to get his rhythm. I know, like I said, 34 points. So, but he was the leading points and rebounds guy on the team in that game, and he found his spot in the middle of the zone there. I know Usher there, he made some plays and he was kind of active, and obviously we got James Banks in foul trouble. So now they have Bubba Parham, who normally starts, or he started when we played him the first time, but now obviously Alvarado's playing, so he's going to be coming off the bench with Evan Cole, another 6'8" forward. So they're deep in their guard and their forwards, and the guys that get normal minutes. But it's going to be more or less with this team, it's going to be scoring, I think. They're going to be out for blood. That I'm sure they don't. No team likes getting beat by 34 points, right?
Yeah,
so,
I crushed them, I know.
So even though it's home, they're going to want to come back. And Jose Alvarado, he had a game last year against us, a real good game as a freshman. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to be nearly
as big of a blowout. Well,
no,
I'll say
and
this.
we better be ready. And that's the thing.
Yeah, and
that's the one thing I'm worried about is us coming off that and kind of still being down. Hopefully we let this game go, because they better be ready to get punched in the mouth on Saturday against Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. Look, in the past 6 games, I mentioned it at the beginning of the show, we're 1-5 in the past 6 games, guys. Whole lot of losing going on, and we talked about how that bodes well sometimes, but can this team respond? I don't know. I think I do know. They can respond. I know they can. We're going to be at home. It's going to be a mid-afternoon game going into the evening. I think that's going to draw a big crowd. I'm hoping that the spirits aren't so deflated that we can't.
It'll be loud.
Yeah, I believe so. So we'll have at least one guy that's loud there, right, Joe?
Yeah, 100%.
You're going to be going with a big crowd. It's a
nice little crowd, yeah.
Yeah, take the party bus there. So I suspect there's booze involved and whatnot. That always helps.
Yeah.
So good luck. Let's wish Joe good luck. So
I'm gonna need it.
Yeah. So anyway,
I think we are gonna need that, right? I think we can bounce back.
Yeah.
We do. Bayham's talked about that in the mentality of the team, and they're probably embarrassed more than anything, and they're probably hopefully looking forward to getting back on the court and proving that that's not the team that they are. And another thing that's kind of good as far as we go, I mean, we're going to have to score, obviously. Georgia Tech, good at defense. That's why they kind of that's why they beat Louisville. And even the first time they played Louisville, they only lost by 4 at Louisville. And it was in the 60s. So they can play defense. The whole thing is can we stop their offense? And they don't really, like you talked about and like you hit on, they don't have a great 3-point shooting team. But maybe that can help as far as our defense. We won't have to go out as far maybe on the perimeter and close out as many 3-point shooters, but I mean,
it's the
I don't
open
know.
looks. It's closing out. It's the open looks. I mean,
Yeah.
it's in the tape. It's there. So
Yeah.
if you can pass the ball well, you eventually are going to find a shot. And Georgia Tech, we mentioned, dude, they played some really good defense too against Louisville. Louisville only scored 58 points. 64 to 58, they win that game. We know Virginia Tech is on the schneid. They beat them by 19. And they did get beat by Pitt, but
And that's the thing is our recipe for how to stop our main scorers is out there. And now they have Alvarado, who's maybe one of their best, if not, he's probably is their best defender. And he was kind of the leader of the team. And now you have a team where they kind of know how to stop us. And now we're playing Alvarado for the first time, and they're a little bit of a different team that we played before. So it's going to be interesting to see who makes the adjustments. But, yeah, I don't know.
yeah, we'll see. Let's just hope for the best. So we're going to see a different team. It's almost like a totally different team, really. The way they've been playing, they've really responded well with Alvarado since he's come back. So he missed a bunch of games, and now he's good to go. So we got some tough games coming up at Pitt, at home against UNC is not going to be easy. Cole Anthony's back, and they've struggled a little tiny bit here and there, but they've been better. That team has been better visibly.
Yeah.
So
I just don't like the whole chirping of the, these games don't matter, this kind of stuff. I know. Because I don't want the kids to come out and even feel that type of way. Because I still feel like, and again, it obviously is the optimist and me of the optimism of trying to play
it's
the
realism.
optimist. Really.
It's realism too, though, Joe. It's realistic.
Well, yeah, it's realistic in the fact that if we do win,
it's all about it's all about
It's if we do win 5 in a row and we go to 19 and 12, like
right.
That's a bubble team. We're going to be bubble talk again. We're going to be on the bubble. So it's just hard for me to.
Let me ask you something real quick. Do you think we've been on the bubble yet this year? I would say no. I don't think we've been on the bubble. I think we've been I think we've been outside the bubble all year so far. I don't think.
Well, the closest that we've been was right before this losing streak here.
Was the 5-game win streak? Sure,
yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's what that does. So when you lose, it just makes it harder and harder for people to believe that you can turn around and not lose for the next 2.5 weeks and get five straight. Right. So. Yeah. But there's no doubt in my mind that you win 5 in a row, you get to 19 and 12. That's 19 and 12. That's bubble. 19 and 12 going into your conference tournament in a major conference. That's bubble talk, especially when you don't have a bad loss.
Right, that's true. We don't have a bad loss.
But that would be a situation where we'd have to go in and get some statement wins. But I think that would put us kind of right, minus the outstanding win. Or the real good win, like that would put us right next to a lot of some of the more recent years teams.
Yeah.
As far as record wise and situation.
Yeah, we've always gotten that one big win and just held on to hope through there, So I think it'll be clear, at the end of these next 5 games. But we are going to take it. Joe and I here at Cuse Militia, we're going to take it one at a time like we always do. So next is Georgia Tech tomorrow at 4 o'clock, or if you're listening on Saturday morning, it's today at 4 o'clock. So look for Joe. Maybe, you don't know what he looks like, but actually, yeah, Joe had his 15 minutes of fame during the Camping World Bowl. So you can go back and look at that clip. So anyway,
if you see me, I'll probably be doing something similar up in one of the 300 sections.
Exactly. We'll see if we can get on TV again. So, all right, Joe. Thanks for taking the time off while you're visiting with friends and getting this done for us. We appreciate it. I appreciate it. Everybody else listening appreciates it because without Joe, I don't think it was going to happen. So. Thank you to all of you for listening. Thank you to all of you on Twitter who participated in fan feedback. Thanks to my bookie, obviously. So that's it. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Thanks for listening to the Cuse Militia Podcast, the fan's voice with Sean and Joe.